that's why people like they have witches rides. Have you ever heard that term before?
No,
I've never heard that.
It's where you fall asleep and your brain is asleep faster than your consciousness. You kind of are out of body experience. You're kind of awake, but you're not. Your conscious is awake, but your subconscious is already out and gone, and you're kind of paralyzed. And they call them witches' rides because your body is like...
Is that sleep paralysis?
Yeah. And that's at that point where your body is, usually when you're sleeping at night, not quite this whole sleep paralysis thing, but that's when you start having those images and those, the next day you're up, you're walking around, and you're like, wait a minute, I feel like I've done this before. Well, you did. You did it the night before. You just had a preview of it. And you just didn't realize it.
So we're here, back. We have Dominic Sattele. But before we get into who and what he does, I just want to remind everybody to hit the subscription button, and then go and like and follow us on all the platforms. If you've been listening to us for a while and you still haven't hit the subscribe button on at least YouTube or whatever platform you're on, let's get serious about it and hit that button.
Yeah, no, so.
And we're here with Gilmar, obviously, and then Dominic.
Yep.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We were connected through Eric Mintel, who was on, I don't know, it was probably only a few episodes ago. Maybe 5 episodes ago.
And I heard I got a lot of flack. I watched it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't here.
Yeah.
And I just, I have to leave Eric shine once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of, you co-host the show with him.
Yeah.
The Eric Mintel Investigates.
Yep. Yeah.
And you kind of, you have like an ability that anchors some of the shows, like the content, kind of like your ability to sense the, I guess, paranormal or energy.
Yep. Yeah.
Is a big part of the show.
The paranormal is my side. Monsters, Dogman, Bigfoot, that's more Eric's. I do a lot of the investigations, like trying to figure out when we're doing the Dogman or Bigfoot, I'll do a lot of the investigation of the area and make sure, get some stories, try to get, some collaboration from other people to let us know what's going on. Eric does pretty much setting it up, where we're going, what we're seeing. And if we're doing something that's paranormal and has to do with ghosts or something like that, he doesn't tell me anything.
Okay.
So
but you're a part of every episode, regardless of your paranormal abilities are needed or not.
Yeah, I've gotten, when we went out to Wisconsin for the Beast of Bray Road, I was out there and I learned a lot. One is to make sure you have something to protect yourself, because we had nothing when we went out there. So that was very interesting. But
so you guys went on a hunt for an alleged monster.
Yeah.
Equipped with no weaponry.
Correct.
I don't think I recall that part of it.
Yeah, I don't think I remember that. Maybe he didn't mention that.
I was like, that feels like a major aspect to that story.
Yeah, we were flown out to Wisconsin by one of our sponsors, Ellen.
Okay.
And Ellen, great woman.
DeGeneres?
Yeah, I was just gonna say Ellen DeGeneres?
Ellen Collins. And she flew us out there and put us up in the hotel to search for the Beast of Bray Road, which is an upright, canine dogman, werewolf, something like that. And we met with Lee Hempel, the owner of the farm, and we went out to his field that night. And when we were out there, that's when everything broke loose. And Lee even offered me a flare gun. He's like, if you want a flare gun, I'll give you one. I have it right here. And I said, nah. I said, we'll be all right. We'll be out there. We have quads. We have the truck. We got cameras and video. We'll be fine. And when we got out there to the middle of the field, within the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I said, Eric, what the hell is that? And I'm pointing to the sky, and he's like, what? And all of a sudden you saw there was a UFO.
Oh.
And
like just some, like an orb or something?
Solid white light up in the sky, and it was moving. It was moving pretty quick after I spotted it. And that's the only reason why is it started moving is when I spotted it. And it started zipping. And there was a plane coming at it, and Eric's like, is it a plane? And I'm like, no, it's not flashing. Look at the plane. You can see the red and green lights on the plane flashing. This was just solid white. And it went right towards the plane, did a 45 to the right, and disappeared. And Eric's like, we got it on camera. And he's like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And I'm like, it's crystal clear sky. And it was overcast, cloudy, and raining that day. But by the time we got to the middle of that field, it just opened up.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. But I mean, that was one of the things we had. But I mean, then there was a second one was the howls.
Dude, that's crazy.
That's pretty insane.
It kind of makes me want to just grab camera equipment and go to spooky places and just see if we can't get into some
See
trouble.
what happens, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that was
the
pretty
reboot.
No
Doylestown and Hardy Boys, the reboot.
Oh, shit.
There you go.
Have you had any other kind of like UFO type experiences?
Yeah, we have. A couple times. We were actually just around the corner over at the park.
The New Galena, or over at Peace Valley Park?
Peace Valley, we're doing stuff there right now with UFO sightings.
Okay.
Couple witnesses we've had. We actually have cell phone video of it, of lights flashing over the lake. They're not stars, and there's multiples, and one keeps moving up and down, which stars don't move like that. But then we also have some other eyewitnesses from Doylestown Hospital that the lady had taken cell phone video of 3 lights out in the sky during the daytime. And you can see that it's a triangular, the way they're set up is a triangle, and they move around and then they just kind of disappear. So, right away, my thing is, let's go Starlink. Let's see if there's, Starlink, if there's any satellites that day, where they're at. Nothing. So,
one of the most recent things, because I've gone down a rabbit hole a few times since the Eric Mintel episode, of researching or reading about all of the UFO stuff that's just happening all the time, and kind of, I read an explanation the other day that was kind of, it felt very plausible to me. The military allegedly has this like weapon or kind of radar. I guess it's like an infrared projection system. We'll call it. Obviously, I don't have security clearance and don't know what the name. It's like US 1. I'm not equipped on that level. But apparently, it's like this energy system that puts out infrared energy. Projects it wherever you're projecting it to simulate on radar like the existence of like an aircraft. Okay. So you could essentially, like, if you wanted to trick, say you wanted to bomb England or trick England to like go left and you wanted them to go right or something like that, like you could just like send this energy signal out, and on their radar system they would see this like signal that like, hey, there's like all these aircraft in this area, so they would send their fighter jets into that area. This guy said he worked on like technology like that.
That's kind of like holographic kind of thing.
What is this? But that doesn't explain everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I still think there's a little bit of like Atlantis and some stuff like that.
Is mermaids.
Definitely mermaids.
Yeah, mermaids exist.
Yeah. Aquatic ape theory, definitely a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but that apparently New Galena or like Lake Galena is a hot spot for that stuff.
It is, and
relative to
and Lake Galena was originally a lead mine. That's what it was, and it kept flooding, and they lost money with the whole economy, and that's why it's now a lake. They let it flood, but
they're just like,
yeah. So, and now it's a park. So don't eat the fish. There's lead in the water.
I heard that about Nakamixon too.
Nakamixon, there's a town.
Yeah, see?
There is a town, and there's photos. You can find it online and look them up. And they just did the anniversary is actually coming up. I think it's been 70 years or something.
Yeah.
And they actually have pictures of the town. There's a gentleman that has him on a bridge from the town with like a couple of his buddies, and they were out there as kids. So they're real little, and they have that picture. So that was one that was online that was shown. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, there's still houses down there, church, stuff like that. So, but it's under 90 feet of water.
That's crazy.
I wish I could bring it up.
I wonder if one of those people knew about it. Or like if all the people knew that the town was flooding, or if it was like one of those movies where like we gotta get out of here.
Yeah, they actually
and they let everybody know the morning of. They sent out a memo.
Yeah,
they're like, by the way, around 9 o'clock, we're just gonna let these gates down.
Yeah, they actually knew. The people knew. They bought the properties from them.
Okay,
and basically evicted them and then flooded it.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Now, like if that was today, the like environmental whatever agency would make you like destroy all the houses, recycle all the stuff, before like do all kinds of stuff before you like were allowed to like flood the plane. Back in the day, you could just flood it, leave everything behind.
Cars, whatever's there, flood it. Didn't matter.
How you've known Eric, based from my my journalistic tools at my disposal. You've known Eric for a long time.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I've known him since high school.
Okay.
So not going to say when because that'll age me, but yeah, I've known Eric for over 30 years.
You graduated high school like what, like 99?
I wish. I just have to tell my daughter, who's a little older than that.
And then what pulled you and Eric together onto like this project where you guys are kind of, running about looking for this stuff? Well,
Eric and I knew each other and we did martial arts together.
Okay.
And we did a couple videos for martial arts, and he was trying to get out a self-defense video, and we kind of lost touch. And marriages and kids, and you kind of lose touch when you get older. And then
it wasn't like a karate like lose touch, like you guys like fought and like.
I'd beat him up anyway.
You challenged him.
So, but he was up and he was doing the Bedminster Beastman, the video, which I was telling you about earlier, and I think it was like 2016, 2017. And a mutual friend of ours, Mike, he was my best man at my wedding. He called me and said, "Hey, I'm up," because he was living down in Willow Grove, and he was up doing this video at his parents', and it was his parents' farm. And so I went over to go see Mike, and Eric was there, and our other friend Dave Antnow was there, and they were all filming. And Eric's like, "Hey, you want to help us out?" I'm like, "Sure." So Eric and I got talking, and he's like, "I'm doing this video, and this guy wants me to go down and do this investigation." I'm like, "I am a medium." And he's like, "You never told me." And I said, "No, back in the day, you kind of kept it quiet because you were ostracized.
You didn't want to get burned at the stake. Like, you ever heard of Salem?
Well, exactly.
Jesus Christ.
So
people think like we just forget.
Never forget, dude.
Never forget, dude.
So we sat there and we were talking, and he's like, "You should come on a couple of our investigations." And I started going with him and doing stuff. And we went out and we did the Selma house out in East Norristown area.
Yeah.
And Eric had known the lady, and we went out and we did a video over there. And there was some psychic energy there. But the more and more that we did, Eric was like, started relying on me more to give him more of a preview and to make more connection with, the spirit to see who's there.
Okay.
So we have a follow-up investigation coming up that's going to be out in Boyertown at New Spirit, Old Soul. And that is going to get more in depth than what we did the first video. I spent more time there than I probably should have, but it needed to be done to heal the spirit that's there. So check out the video.
Heal the spirit.
Yep.
That sounds intense.
Yeah.
What do you mean heal the spirit?
The spirit is a female. Uh-huh. It was the wife of the husband had an affair, and the person he had an affair with was an employee on the farm area. And it was a little intense. She was embarrassed and very angry at men, and she definitely let it know. She tried to knock me over, and I was like, "Oh." So yeah, it was interesting. So, but I've been out there. We did 2 showings out there, showed the video, and then we walked people through the house and through the property, and it was pretty good. But I had to calm the spirit down again because the homeowner's son was a little rambunctious with his cousins and irritated the spirit. And I had to go back to it and calm her down. And
jeez,
yeah, it was fun. It was a good time though.
So I want to get more into that, but I think we need to go backwards first into the whole like the ability or abilities in like a basic form. Like, when did you, like, what age did you recognize or identify like, hey, maybe something is going on here? And what was that situation, or, you know, characteristics that like you identified?
I've had it my whole life. I had it when I was very little. I got it from my grandmother, and when I first started noticing it, my brother and I, young age, sleeping in the same room, no air conditioning. That's how old I am. But we used to see a guy walking by the window, and every time he was walking by the window, we kept seeing him with dogs, and he was always shirtless, and he would stop and talk to us, and then he would continue on.
And this is you in...
I'm probably 4 or 5 years old.
Okay.
At this point.
And how many siblings do you have?
I just have an older brother.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, come to realize later on that the guy that's walking by, because where I live, there was an Indian reservation up on the hill, and the burial ground was behind our house in the one farmer field. And this was an Indian that was walking by, and he was walking by with deer. It wasn't dogs, it was deer. Didn't, 4 or 5 years old. And it looks like a big dog.
Yeah, I mean, we call them forest puppies.
Yep.
So I could see how that could happen.
Yeah, so, that was the first remembrance of seeing and talking to somebody. And then as I got older...
And how strong, like, when you see this man walking past you and these dog deer, what... texturally, like, what are you, like, are they as vivid as like a human being standing there? Like, it's not like you can kind of see through them at all, or there's no opacity like to them, like.
No, and I've been asked that before, and the thing with it is, at night they're a lot more vivid because they are energy. During the day they are more opaque. They're more transparent. But I see them full body image, full body apparition.
Okay.
I can see colors, what they're wearing. And when they talk to me, they can talk. And I hear what they're saying. The other person that we have usually with us, Karen Luchin, who's another medium, when she's out sometimes with us on some investigations that we do, she gets images. And her gift is a little different than mine. Where I see the full body apparition and I can talk to that person. She gets the images, and those images are then like projected into her, and that's how she tells. So our gifts, we do the same, but they're a little different in how we...
Her more like kind of like a flashback, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a little, something like that. But they'll do images for her, but for me, it's you sitting next to me, just talking.
Jeez.
So I mean, I had and for instance, I was on a job and I was walking through the ladies' basement and had no idea I had an idea there was somebody there, but I had an employee that was with me that I didn't care for. It wasn't a great, strong employee. I think he was there more for the money than anything else, and lazy.
That was in your business.
This was in my business. And when I walked into this, I didn't hire the guy. My mother actually did. But when I walked into her it was the coal chute, where the coal used to come into the house. It was a very old house. And when I walked into there, I went to turn on the light. And when I went to the left to turn on the light switch, there was a gentleman standing there. And he had his arms crossed like you, and he was standing there, and he gave me a look like, "What are you doing here?" And I just, "How you doing?" Turned the light on, did what I had to do. The employee looks at me and goes, "Who are you talking to?" I said, nobody, don't worry about it. I said, I talk to myself sometimes. I just walked by, shut the light off, and I went upstairs. And I said to the owner, and I said to her, I was like, "Hey, anybody ever tell you got a ghost here?" And she's like, "Yeah." describe it to me. She wouldn't say anything else. So I described this gentleman, about 5'10", thin build, but muscular, dark blue, like Dickies pants with black shoes, button-up shirt, very clean-cut man, mustache. And she said, oh, my God. She's like, my girlfriend, who's a psychic, told me that's the old owner that used to live here. I said, well, he's watching out for you. She said, well, I've got a story for you now. My ex-husband was abusive. And he went and had one of his tantrums one night. She goes, and I ran to get into the bathroom. She goes, the next thing I heard, after he stopped banging on the door, she goes, I heard him fall down the steps. She goes, I went outside to see what happened. I found him at the bottom of the steps. And he goes, I felt like I was pushed. Somebody just moved the step away from me when I stepped down. And I'm like, that was the ghost. He's protecting you. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. But, yeah, I
Interesting.
Gave her the same details that her girlfriend gave her, but even more so with what he was wearing.
Young, geez, that's got me all like jumbled up. Give me chills. Young Dominic.
Yep.
You knew, like somewhere along the line, like you saw something, and remarked at it, and somebody was like, "I don't see that." And then kind of like, when did you know that like you had something other people didn't have?
Again, it was a really young age. When I told my mother, my father, they were like, you guys are up in the middle of the night. Who are you talking to? They could hear us because we had a joining wall, and it was only a rancher. So it wasn't like we were on a second floor. And my mother's like, who are you talking to? I said, oh, there's a guy comes by. And she's like, there's nobody out there. So my father would wait up at night to see if anybody's there. He'd hear us talking, and he'd be looking out the window.
Us, meaning like you?
My brother and I.
Oh, so your brother has like a similar...
Similar, yeah, but he never let his develop. Okay. So I developed mine where he didn't. Some people do that. Some people don't. And my mother's like, I have a story to tell you. Your grandmother is psychic. She's, she can see people and talk to people. She goes, when we moved into the one house, she goes, I always had this lady, this is my mother saying this, she goes, I always had this lady standing at the foot of my bed yelling at me. She goes, and I never could figure out why. She goes, my mother came over, and I told her, hey, look, there's this lady in my bedroom, yelling at me at night. What do I do? And my grandmother says, you need to move your bed to that wall. So my mother moved her bed, and the lady never came back. So she's like, your grandmother has that gift. So I used to talk to my grandmother all the time. And my mother was like, you don't like going into, cemeteries. I'm like, no, cemeteries are fine. They don't bother me. And she's like, really? I said, no, cemeteries don't bother me. Funeral homes bother me. If I go to Gettysburg or Williamsburg, oh, that's bad. That the noise from that is deafening. So, it's, you have to learn how to put up words and how to shut things off to kind of dull that sense so that it doesn't bother you every day. Because if you do, it's too intense. But I've known, even young Dominic knew at a young age, walking around, going and playing war in the woods. And, that's where the Indians, the natives used to play. And that's where the graveyard is. And their spirits are still there. And we used to go out there and play, and I'd see these guys out in the woods hanging out with us. So we'd be out there, and I'd be playing with 3 other friends, and there's 20 other people there besides my 3 friends. But you kind of learn, okay, you're not real, but they are. So you kind of figure that out.
Oh, geez. I guess going back to what you said about developing your abilities or your brother not developing his abilities, what was your practice, or take us through what that
the process.
Yeah, like what is I just picture kind of just Mr. Miyagi teaching you how to like paint a fence, but like with a wizard wand or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what that. I don't even know where to even begin thinking about that.
It's talking with my grandmother who had the gift and used it. She used to say to me, "You got to quiet your mind. That's the biggest thing. Quiet your mind. There's so many distractions. You need to get rid of the distractions. Then you can open it up and you can see."
Okay.
So, and as Karen would say, it's her third eye that she always says, you got to open up your third eye so you can see what's going on. And that was the biggest thing, was learning how to quiet everything. And because there is a lot of distractions that go on, especially, we're on an investigation. Eric goes in and he'll talk with the owners and he'll interview the owners. And as he's interviewing them, I walk around the property. I'm not in there, so I don't hear what's being said, what they've experienced. And I'll walk around the property and I invite the spirit to come to me. And I say, okay, I'm open, I'm ready, I'm willing, come in. And, I let them come to me and they'll talk to me. And they'll be like, this is what's going on. This is what has happened on this property. And my first question is, why are you still here? What is it that you want to show, that the reason why you like this place? And, I've never met a malevolent spirit. I haven't found one yet.
But they exist?
I'm not going to say they don't. I've never experienced one, but I'm not going to say they don't exist.
Have you ever seen the movie Constantine?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I kind of picture the situation being like.
Kind of.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe you're
I don't do the drinking and the smoking, but...
Hey, but, I mean, there's always, with good comes evil.
There is a balance. There's definitely a balance.
So if you're interacting statistically,
there's, I was telling you guys earlier.
I don't want to be the one that jinxes it, and then the parking lot, like Dom gets whacked by a ghost. Like the tree falls on him on the way out, and be like, "Holy shit,
that wouldn't be good."
The malevolent.
Well, no, that happened to my truck.
And then we don't have anybody to we have to call Julie.
Oh no, it's just
that happened to my truck right before Christmas. The tree fell and landed on the roof of the truck. So
what is a malevolent spirit?
Yeah,
that was Angry Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Malevolent spirits.
But yeah, I've never ran into an evil spirit myself. I've ran into spirits that are pranksters, tricksters, that like to play games. A little boy running around poking people at bars, pinching their butts when they're sitting on the bar stool. He's still there.
That's interesting.
So that's up in Bethlehem. That's another investigation.
If you want your butt touched.
Yeah.
Yeah, where was that bar? Just asking for a friend.
Yeah, just asking for a friend.
Hanoverville Roadhouse.
Hanoverville Roadhouse.
So if y'all like a little fun, show up.
Oh yeah, it's an awesome. The food's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Eric and I went up. We did the investigation, then we went back and we had dinner up there. It was really good.
Did you get pinched in the butt?
No.
They probably look disappointed.
They don't mess with me too much, but
do like the spirits you're interacting with, do they know that you see them?
Yes.
But they know that, say, Gilmar or I couldn't.
Yeah, because what they'll do is I had, when we were up at New Spirit Old Soul, there's a woman there, and it was a little boy. It was her son, and it was the maid and the son, and she's the one that had the affair with the husband, and the son was his. But when I went walking around the property, she's at the spring house, and she's waving me to come into the spring house, and she's waving, and I looked at her. I said, I can't come in yet. I said, you have to wait. And I just kept walking, and she was more insistent. And I said, I can't come in yet. You have to wait. But they do. Other people, you always get that, the hair on the back of your neck stands up. You'll get a sense of something. That's usually spirit letting you know they're there. Whether you pick up on those clues or not, that's the thing. A smell, that you're not aware of. And I guess I shouldn't say I haven't met a malevolent spirit, but not talked to. I'll have to go back to that story because
you've seen a malevolent.
Yeah, I've seen. Yes, I have seen. When we were out in Pittsburgh, Eric and I, we went out to Newcastle, Pennsylvania, out to Haunted Hillview Manor.
Haunted Hillview Manor.
Yeah, and that was an old. I don't want to say nursing home, but it was a home where people would go and they would drop people off that were sick and they couldn't take care of them anymore. And
so it was like the firehouse for old people.
Pretty much, yeah. Kind of like
you dropped the babies off at the firehouse, and Haunted Hill.
Yep.
Was where you dropped your sick off.
They had an older woman there that had glass eyes. She would take them out and leave them on the bed to play with the orderlies. And she would be sitting on the other side of the room. She's like, "I have my eye on you," and the orderly would see him sitting on the bed, looking back at him. Stuff like that. I mean, people like that. So, but when we went out there, I said to Eric, we need to set up a static camera, and we need to have it set up back here, facing the other way. I said, with our backs to it. And I said, we're going to get something. And we got what they call the creeper. Now, the creeper didn't do anything to us, but we got it on camera coming out from the one room, and it was just like a black figure, and it rose, it got real tall, and then it shrunk back down and went back into the room. And we got that on camera. So it's on our video.
Yeah, link in bio.
That's it.
Yeah, we gotta check that out.
Check it out
bio.
down below.
Yeah, link in the bio.
So, but yeah, that, and then we caught, there was some other things there, but I shouldn't say I never met a malevolent spirit, but I've never had one run into me and try to do anything, nothing like that. Everything, and I think that's also because of my energy. I push the bad away and I only want the good. So that's the only thing I can say.
Interesting. That'd be a good name for like liquor, Malevolent Spirits.
Yeah.
Me and Dom are gonna go into business producing whiskey.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a dope. Yeah, that's a dope.
Malevolent Spirits.
Have you ever been down to Cape May, New Jersey?
Yeah, I've been to Cape May.
Have you ever been to Naughty Distillery?
No.
Nauti, like nautical? Oh, they got some good alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good place to go
We
visit.
see how Dom suppresses it.
Yeah, some fine spirits.
That's it.
He's hanging out with spirits, drinking spirits.
Yeah, there it is.
My good friends, Jim Beam, Jack Daniels. Johnny
He
Walker.
goes to visit Jack Daniels' factory and sees all the family there.
That's it. George Thorogood's there. I mean,
That'd be hilarious. You could see. Have you ever seen anybody famous that's dead?
I will say yes. When I was younger, we went down to Graceland, and I know Elvis was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw Elvis?
I saw Elvis in Graceland. I have to say that.
What age Elvis? What was he what was
he? Was probably, I'm going to say probably in his 30s. Early 30s.
What do you think? Why do you think 30-year-old Elvis was in Graceland?
I guess
you were too young to find out.
I was too young to find out. If I was 10, I'm lucky if I was 10. But yeah, I remember seeing him sit there, and I remember we went by his pink Cadillac that he had in his house, and as we went by, the next room, he was there.
So you saw him at his house that he would have been at when he was 30?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Does that make you want to kind of just go to...
I was about to ask that.
Go on a... when you go to LA or Hollywood, you can kind of go on celebrity house tours.
Oh, yeah.
Does this make you want to go on a dead people house tour?
Not really.
No?
I see enough dead people.
Yeah.
And
we almost got him. We almost got him to say, I see dead people. So close. So close. Haley Joe Osment was getting, we were going to.
There you go.
To make a little clip. Yeah, we're going to see who did it best. Who did it best.
Side by side.
We got it. That's clipped. Who did it best, dude? Haley Joe Osment doesn't have anything on Dom.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Dom actually sees dead people.
Yeah, because we've talked about that movie before. Haley Joe Osment, it took him the whole movie to help anybody. You know what I'm saying? We waited there what
a waste.
But you figure it out dude, these kids had the gift the whole movie.
Yeah.
We could have. He saw Malevolent Spirit in that movie though.
Dude, you just ruined it for me. I've never seen the movie.
I didn't ruin anything. I didn't tell you what the
spoiler alert, everyone.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
The movie came out 30 years ago.
Creepy ghost movie from early 2000s.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Dude, if you haven't seen it now, get over yourself.
Get over it. Yeah, just give up, man.
Just remember, comment, like, and subscribe.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, and go join the Kanye West battle on our previous comments.
Go join the Kanye West battle.
Yeah, I can't believe that comment section, but whatever.
Yeah, you should see if you can go to Princeton and see Einstein or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be like crazy.
Einstein, go talk to Kennedy, see what happened there.
Yeah. Dude. We all know what happened there. What do you mean?
It was a CIA, dude. They did it.
Yeah.
He could name names.
Yeah, name some names, dude. Yeah, you should. If I had the gift, I don't know, maybe I'd go on a little tour.
Well, it sounds, correct me if I'm wrong, there's multiple gifts.
Yes.
There are 7 options, or is there just a multitude of options when it comes, like, how many gifted people have you interacted with, I guess?
A bunch. There's been a bunch. I've had one lady that, and that's another thing. Like, I don't go into antique shops. No. There's lots of spirits attached to objects in the antique shop. Wow. So I had a customer of mine. She went out and found this. It was like this candelabra thing, whatever, and she had brought it home, and she was having electrical interference issues. And I did HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical that's my day job. And she was having issues. And when I got out there, I'm like, that's got to go. She's like, what? And I'm like, you brought that in, and that's when all your problems started. And she's like, well, yeah, if I think about it, yeah, you're right. I'm like, yeah, it's got to go.
Could you imagine, like, the next week is, like, Thanksgiving, and she's sitting around the table telling her family how, like, the electrician HVAC guy told her to take the candelabra. Yeah. And, like, everybody's like, Heather, are you okay?
Yeah. But, yeah, so she ended up, she did get rid of it, and her problems went away. It solved
the problems.
Yeah.
Dang.
She was having problems with her heating and air conditioning unit. It would go bonkers, and it wouldn't stop, and couldn't figure out why. And I went out there, and when I got out there, the first thing I'm like, I was probably the 3rd contractor on the job at that point. And when I walked in, I'm like, wow, there's really odd energy from that room. And that's where the thermostat is. So I'm like, it's really, and it wasn't power, it was energy, spirit energy. And when I walked in, I'm like, okay. The woman that had the attachment to that object, the candelabra, she wanted it to be in her family. This person that bought it was not her family. And she was making it well known. You're not my family, and this doesn't belong here. You need to give it back. So I'm like,
Dude, I like buying old stuff, so that makes me
nervous. No, that makes me nervous too.
So I was like, all right, well, that shouldn't be in this house. That's got to go.
How did you charge for that, like on your invoice or like the statement to the customer? Like what was that like line item like?
That was not a charge. That was a freebie.
Okay. All right.
No, dude, that's
but I went and I
could you imagine getting audited and just like just be like, hooked up these outlets?
That's the edge this company has though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
HVAC plus.
Yeah.
You know?
We did an old farmhouse up in Pipersville, and the employees were down there, and they were going through a crawl space, and they found bones. They found a femur bone. A femur bone was this big.
Human femur.
Nope. Cow.
Okay. I was gonna say, damn.
They came out of that crawl space quick, and they're like, "We're not going back in there." I'm like, "Don't worry, it's not human. It's a cow." And they're like, "How do you know? You haven't even seen what it looks like." I'm like, "I'm just telling you right now, it's a cow." So they went, and one of the other guys was brave enough, that was Mr. Hunter, went in there and pulled it out, and he's like, "This ain't no way, it's a human. Look at this bone." I'm like, "Yep, told you. It's a cow femur."
Yeah, you fools. It's like mediums.
Like, now,
on the
get your butts in there and finish the job.
Interesting.
How'd you know it was a cow? You felt the spirit of the cow?
I do see animals too, yeah.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
Dogs that have passed on, I still see them in my house. So, yeah, even from when I was little, we had dogs, and I still see them.
Does it ever get like, and this might be an abstract question, does it ever get like congested for you?
Oh, yeah.
Because like, imagine traffic, like how you and I experience, like, you go to Wawa, and there's 40 people in Wawa.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You're like, oh my God, there's too many people in here. Imagine walking around Wawa with like 20 Native American spirits.
Yep. Pretty much.
Right? Say you built a Wawa on like Indian
man.
reservation land and like you build it on a graveyard. Like Dom goes in there to get like a Red Bull and just like has to like fight, past all these people. So you go to like Taco Bell, you run into Pancho Villa, like all these dudes all over the place. Like, think about that.
Well, when we went out to Gettysburg as a family for a family trip, the first day when we went out to the battlefields, I had an extreme headache because of all the spirits trying to contact me and connect with me. And I kept telling them, no, I'm not here for that. No, I'm not here for that. No. And that out there, I mean, that was one of the bloodiest battles ever with how many people from the North and South had passed away. And we walked the battlefield.
Can you look up on the handy dandy thing over there how many people like died in the Battle of Gettysburg?
You'll be floored.
We usually have like a monitor or a TV set up, but since this is you're to be truthful, you're the first guest in the new studio.
All right.
So
I beat you, Eric.
We're still yeah, see Eric?
See, now you're not here.
Got him.
So we're still having we have almost everything worked out, but
Yeah, final things to come in hopefully this week, so we can have a good setup.
But-
But it was 46,000, between 46 and 51,000 soldiers from both armies.
Yep.
Were casualties in the battle.
That's a lot.
that's a lot considering what was the population in the United States back then?
Yeah, that's a good portion of it.
I think a lot of people just gone in one day.
Yeah, I don't know. See, population in, when did that battle happen?
Just put in like 1862. But when you're walking around there and you have a headache, what are these spirits like? They're walking, like you can see them walking with you, and they're coming up and like tapping you on the shoulder, being like, "Let's chat."
They're laying there where they died. They're in groups huddled together. They're walking, just randomly, just walking, just no reason, no rhyme.
As they were on that day, or
yeah, pretty much.
Or
yeah,
some people go back to like 30-year-old. Like Elvis didn't die at 30, but he's there as a ghost at 30.
Correct.
31.4 million. Sorry.
31.4 million, and that's the world or just the United States?
I believe that was the United States.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of people. So.
Now we're at 340 million or something.
Yeah.
331 million we're at now.
Yeah, so we were like 10 times more since then.
Damn. So there's a large population of people. I almost made a coronavirus comment, but we'll just abort that whole conversation.
Let's go back to Elvis. He was saying something about Elvis.
Yeah.
But it really, the spirit, they can exist in more than one area at once because they're energy, and they can present themselves how they want, how they felt they looked the best. So
that's what it comes down to.
That's what it comes down to.
When they felt at their peak in their life. I guess. Yeah.
Where they were the happiest, where they felt, thanks again.
That's cool. It's one of the technical difficulties we're working on is the lighting situation. I saw lights online that I'm probably just going to get.
All right, cool.
But it really depends on, and that's the whole thing. The reason why there's still spirits, why there's still ghosts here is because they're attached to something that made them the happiest, that made them feel special. And they can choose to cross over if they want to or not. Some do cross over and come back. So they don't have to stay crossed over. They can always come back if they want.
So from your understanding of the crossover, what is that like? Is that like they're presenting themselves as energy in whatever level that we're currently existing at in this like physical form, and then the crossing over is moving to another dimension? Is that another planet? Is that another, like, what are we talking about?
It's energy. I mean, energy doesn't stop. It transforms. So it can change. So being that I've never passed away, I've never been over there. I don't know. I can only take what they tell me.
Okay.
And over there, it's nothing but it's, light and good. It's how they put it. It's light and good. So
interesting.
And, I've never had a spirit come back and say it's the worst thing ever. Don't die. So, I mean, but when you pass away, your soul, your spirit, your energy that makes you,
your consciousness,
consciousness moves on.
Interesting.
And, can you choose to be reborn? Absolutely. And relive another life? Sure. So,
so
that's
you can
a
choose
choice.
to like stay there.
Yep.
Fight over a candelabra.
Correct. Yep.
So you have choices.
Or a teapot.
Or
something
teapot.
like that.
Choices.
I thought you were.
Or come back as a companion dog.
I'd come back as a golden retriever.
Thank you.
They usually have great lives.
I think a lot of people would come back as this dog.
Yeah, they have great lives.
He's the man.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you ever, other than like the show, and that side of things, do you ever use your abilities in like a professional sense? Like, do you ever, market them for bachelorette parties or?
No, but I can give
I'm
you
trying
tips.
to get them paid here.
I can give you tips. No, I don't. And everybody's like, well, if you have this sense and this ability, why don't you use it to win the lottery? Well, that's not the way it's intended. So I don't really play the lottery. You can't win if you don't play, but I don't really play. But
could your gift help you in the lottery?
Not my gift. No, maybe somebody else's, but mine. I'm not. No.
We're gonna stop everything we're doing, and we're gonna find the person who can help us play the lottery.
There you go.
Full, like, if we have to keep them locked up.
I think someone just won in Maine.
Bend the rules. All right, then we're going to Maine, and we're gonna
go.
find the person.
Yeah, they won like 3-point-something billion.
Oh, they won the jackpot?
I think so, yeah.
Wow.
After taxes, it was $754 million.
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
Yeah, it's an insane amount of money.
You're changing.
I'm not asking for a lot, just a little.
Yeah, give me
You're not
couple
changing
thousand.
income classes. Like you're changing like all of the income classes.
yeah. For generations, dude.
Yeah, like if you do that money right, like, God, they probably got ghosts haunting them though.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I'm here. I can help them.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yes, yeah, there you
What's gonna
go.
happen if you just won the lottery in where was it? Iowa? Maine. Okay, I was gonna say Iowa. Same significance.
Yeah.
If you're there and you're about to spend that money on some old stuff, and then next thing you know, your old stuff is haunting you. Dom.
Yeah, check Dom
This
out.
guy.
Yeah, this guy.
But yeah, people ask me all the time if I do one-on-ones.
Yeah, do you?
And I don't. No,
Yeah.
the reason why I can, but I just choose not to, because it's very personal.
Yeah.
And there's information that's given to me that you may not want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And to filter that through what's coming from, the spirit to get back to you it's very personal, and it's very, to me, it's kind of intrusive. Because I don't need to know about your life and your family and all your shadows and the skeletons in the closet. But guess what? Grandma over here is telling me everything.
Yeah.
It's
Is
like,
there
Grandma,
any spirits
time
in here right now?
Felt them outside. I did not feel them once I came in.
We get spirits out. Positive for spirits outside. That's a win. That's a win.
Yeah.
We're starting with something here. We just got to get.
Will they buy the dumpster?
I didn't walk around the parking lot.
They buy the dumpster.
I don't think they're dumpster divers.
Yeah, dumpster divers. Looking for their
I thought
shit.
he was insinuating
that was
a
the
body
homeless
in the
guy
dumpster.
out there.
A body in the dumpster? Jesus.
Yeah, that was the homeless guy. He's sleeping.
Okay, nice. There you go.
Yeah. So do you ever break for ghost deer? Like, do you ever see deer in the road and you're like, oh wait, that was a ghost
deer.
I've seen a lot of things in the road. I've seen people walking. I actually saw a mother pushing a carriage, and that was down in Philadelphia. And we're driving. It was me and an employee, and as we're driving there, she was literally in the middle of the road pushing the baby stroller, and I'm like, what is she doing?
Did you roll the dice and drive right at her?
Well, she was in the middle of the road, and employee wasn't reacting, and I'm like, okay, so I know she's not really there, and I'm just watching, and the next thing I knew she wasn't real. It was because she was floating, she wasn't walking, and as I drove by, she just turned her head and looked at me, and I just kept going. I'm like, don't look, don't acknowledge, just keep going.
Do you think it would be helpful for you to wear sunglasses?
I wear them all the time,
just so you can like just stay.
Yeah.
Stay profiling people.
Yeah. Do you ever point it out to someone when you see something, or keep it to yourself?
A lot of times I've come to the point where I just keep it to myself because, again, when I was younger, it was taboo to talk about. Now it's more prevalent and everybody wants to talk about it. You know, thank you, Long Island Medium, Teresa, for bringing it out.
What if he said there were, spirits in here, or like he was like, actually, there's a malevolent spirit like coming from over here.
All right.
And then the show just ended.
Everything cuts off.
Dude, mind's blown.
Yeah, my life will change forever.
That's content. Yeah. I might actually just do that and then just keep the show going.
That's content. No, because if someone was telling me like, oh, there's something back there, I'd be a little, because I'm not used to that, so I think I'd feel a certain way about it. But
yeah, what if you just like kept looking at you and then like just over your shoulder, like,
nah, man, no way, dude, don't do that.
So which one of you guys has something from a grandfather that was something special from your grandfather?
What?
I've never met any of my grandfathers, so it's not me.
Yeah, so I just met with a psychic medium not too long ago, and my grandfather was like a large part of that like experience.
All right, because that's what I'm getting right now.
Yeah.
Do you have something that was your grandfather's that is a good memento?
I have, a few things, yeah.
Okay. That's validation. He's here.
Oh, shit, dude.
So.
Dude, twice in a month.
That's insane, dude. I'm going to shout out Grandpa, dog.
Yeah, dude.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah. So. He decided just to come out and just say something.
Yeah, that's cool. That happened live on the show.
That happened live on the show. Another one.
So going back to like you developing your abilities for people, listening, or maybe Gilmar has abilities. You started with quieting your mind and kind of just taking that, that time. Are we talking about like meditation kind of a thing, or just kind of just sitting there? Yeah.
It's not true meditation. You're not going into a trance-like state.
Not like the monk style meditation.
Correct. Yeah. You basically have to wipe the page clean. You can't have, you can't be worried about, I have to make this money so I can pay this bill. I have to remember before I go home, I have to put gas in the car. You have to get all that stuff out of your head. All
which
the
is extremely
little
hard to
things.
do.
Exactly. And it takes time to learn how to quiet your mind and get rid of those intrusive thoughts so that you can accept and let the spirit come in to talk to you. So, right now I'm sitting here, I'm talking with you, and your grandfather came over and it's like, hey, let him know I'm here. And, my mind is quieted because I'm thinking about this and what we're doing.
It's the podcast headphones.
And you know what? It very well could be, honestly.
You get in when you take the headphones off, and I'm shooting from the hip on this, but it's like when you take the headphones off after you're done the show, especially when we have the sound panels up, it just feels like you come out of podcast land.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of extra noise that comes in
because you only hear each other's voices.
Yeah,
and that's the whole thing. Like when I walk around a property, and I quiet everything and I settle myself. The only thing I hear is my heartbeat, and I get my heartbeat, and I just sit there and I listen to that.
So you have to cultivate your own sort of process to quiet your own mind. Obviously, your process probably at that level probably isn't going to work for anyone other than you because you're kind of just doing your own thing. And then once your mind is quieted, then you're kind of just
and I'm in
good to go at the point.
I'm in a zone, and invite them in, and I say, all right, if you have something you want to show me, you want to tell me, bring it on.
So, but when you're just like driving around and cruising the streets of Philly, serving up electric and air conditioning, and you see a ghost, or spirit, Can we call them ghosts?
You can call them ghosts. I call them spirits.
All right. Well, respect. Like, I mean, we're in a political correct day and age. We want to use the right. We want to use the right
after
language.
living. After living.
That's a mouthful.
Because then it encompasses everything.
That's a mouthful. That's a big ass.
I'm kidding.
The AL.
We'll send that to
paranormal.
HR. Yeah, paranormal. So the spirit, like, and you see a spirit. You're obviously not, doing your process at that point, quieting your mind. Is that just because sometimes you kind of just, zone out during the day, and the next thing you know, you're just kind of peaceful and you see something? Or can it happen, like, if you're being chased by a dog and then you finally just get away from that dog and you're still very stressful?
Oh, yeah.
Can you just, like, look over and see a ghost at that point?
And that's the thing, like, everybody asks me, like, what do you do during the day? I shut it off during the day. So I basically tell them, I put up a do not enter sign. I'm not available, out of the office kind of a thing. And so then I go to work and I do my job and I concentrate on my job for 8 to 10 hours a day. And when I'm done, I go out, I get my truck, and before I drive home, I take, 2 minutes in the truck, start it up, let it warm up, turn the radio on. And I just kind of, and just release all that energy from stressing about having to get things done at work. And I let it go. And then right after that, I'm ready to go. And I let them, and when I go to a place and what I do is when I get there, I settle and calm myself, because then I get in tune with that site. But it's always on. I can see, and I see things all the time, and it's filtered throughout the day. But I don't let it bother me, and I don't let it intrude into me, so I can concentrate on my job.
Was there ever a point in your life where that, filtering ability wasn't there yet, or the spirits or anything kind of just like affected you and it was like an inconvenience?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When I was younger and we used to do family trips, we went down to St. Augustine, Florida. We'd go through Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Alabama. I mean, we used to go down and we used to go everywhere. And my grandparents used to come with us. My grandmother had the gift. And my comment when I was younger, my mother used to I used to say it all the time. My mother would tell me, you used to sit there and go, oh, great, another old building. Do we have to go into this one? And I'm like, well, that's because those spirits, the paranormal, the ghosts, whatever you want to call them, after living, they were there. And when I was young, I didn't know how to control it. So, until I was able to get better at controlling and allowing them in and shutting them off, it bothered me. So I didn't like going to Williamsburg. I didn't like going down to St. Augustine. All the places that, I love going to now as an adult. But when I was younger, it was bad because I'd always see things and they'd always talk to me and distract me. And I'm like, I don't want to be here. I hate this. This is, the worst thing in the world, because they keep coming to me and they wouldn't stop. Mm. And when you're younger, the gift is very strong because you're young. You just came from that side. So the energy is very vibrant. That's why kids can run till midnight and we fall asleep at 9:00. Mm. So, their energy is a lot higher. So they're more acceptable. That's why, everybody's like, oh, did you have an imaginary friend? Well, yeah, when I was little, I had an imaginary friend. That was most likely a ghost. Mm. That's how I look at it. Mm. So, I've been in houses before and kids are playing pretend over in the corner, and I'm looking at it going, how you doing, buddy? And I just walk away because they're playing with a relative that had passed, and that's just their pretend friend. That was a relative. So, what? Yeah, I mean, I've been in, my focus when I had my own business was older homes and doing 1700s farmhouses, putting air conditioning in them and heating. And I had more than one time where I was in, and I'd go walk through the house, survey it for air conditioning to find out where I'm going to place the air conditioning vent in the ceiling so it wouldn't be intrusive, or through the floor. And as I'm walking around, and there was kids playing at a table, and there was no table and there were no kids, but they were there and they were playing, and they were playing games. And the games, I'm looking at the games, I'm going, I've never seen that game before. Oh, that's because they were like the original owner's kids in that house. And they're still there because they were kids. That's what they remembered. And that was their favorite time, spending time together before they died.
Interesting.
So
that's wild.
Yeah. Down in Philly, I did a lot of work in Philly, and there's a lot of history down there and a lot of spirits. So
yeah, that's one way of putting it.
Stupid.
Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting.
We're just adding to that spirit count.
Oh my God. You're not kidding. It's crazy.
It's a Philly thing.
That
bro.
was dumb, but that was a good one. You're just like, yeah, Philly's adding to the spirit count.
Yep.
Dude, they're up. They hit some numbers last year.
We've already hit numbers this year. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
they are. I'm not.
It's not a competition, people. Stop.
Yeah, come on.
It's the Spirit Olympics.
Yeah.
Dying to get in.
Spirit
That's
Olympics.
it. That's why they put fences up around graveyards. People are just dying to get in.
That's
crazy.
dope.
What Gilmar, do you have anything, like, has anything piqued your curiosity here?
Yeah, I mean the whole thing. I mean,
Like specifically, I'm just giving you an opportunity to, jump in here.
no, it's I don't know. I've always found mediums pretty interesting. I used to have I have a cousin that he would see things and feel presences too, because I used to sleep over his house and he would tell me, yeah, my house, there's things that happen in this house. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, so sometimes when I go to bed, there's people trying to talk to me at a late time and this and that. So one night I stayed in his room, and we just stayed up because we were young.
What to call
had all the
bullshit on him? Be
energy.
like, we're gonna
Yeah.
call this kid a liar.
I was like, all right,
tomorrow
let's see
morning."
what the fuck. And then he was like, oh, they're in here right now. I'm like, what do you mean they're in here right now? It's like, they were by the door just looking at us. And I'm like, well, I don't like that. and then I fell asleep. And then in the morning he said that they kept tugging on the blankets, but I didn't feel it because I was knocked out. But
That's just what kind of savage you are, though.
yeah, I guess so. I was dead asleep.
You literally, like, you take any other kid into that room and you're just like, there's spirits by the door.
Yeah.
And it's like a sleepover scenario, up all night.
Yeah.
Gilmar's like,
Not having it.
spirits.
No,
like,
man.
They're not going to keep me from sleeping.
No, yeah. And then I remember one time we all went out with a couple friends. There's this place in Trenton, Hamilton called the Marsh. They would call it the Marsh. And we'd go there on school trips during the daytime and, check out all the plants and the turtles and stuff that were down there. It was kind of an abandoned, I guess, event place. There used to be a lot of carnivals there, and they had
The story's getting wild.
Yeah, I know.
You're
Yeah, I'm
Princeton,
kind of
Then
interested.
you're in Hamilton, and we're at this abandoned event place called the Marsh.
Well,
You
yeah.
want to switch seats? Because this sounds cool.
That's why I'm here. And then we went at night because at night they would call it Devil's Hill.
What? Devil's Hill?
Yeah, because it's pitch black. There's nothing down there. It's abandoned. No one is ever really there other than
Are you
kids in the daytime.
allowed to be here?
Yes and no. The thing is, there's people's homes right by it too. So on the way down to Devil's Hill, there's it's a neighborhood, so there's people's houses there.
Okay.
And we were all just tripping out because we're all kids and we're scared and we're impressionable, and it's pitch black. And he's the only one that was calm, and he was like, "It's okay, guys. We can go down." And we were like, "Okay, fine." And we start walking down. He's like, "Wait, stop." And we're like, "What?" He's like, "There's someone down there that doesn't want us to come down." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Guys, I don't think we should come down here." And then we all started freaking out, and someone threw a rock, and everyone got scared, and we all fucking ran away. But he was always that person that had that kind of sixth sense, and he would kind of
He could have kept you from a malevolent spirit.
probably, yeah, that shit was crazy. But I mean, to this day, I don't really know if I really believe that or not. But I don't know. He was very convincing.
What's this dude's name?
His name is Christian. He's my cousin.
Christian?
Yeah.
Just straight Christian?
Yeah, he's in the army now, I think.
Okay, there's no like vowel on the end of his name. There's no like a sweet name.
It's Christian Estrada. That's his name.
All right.
Well, his last name has a vowel at the end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I've been around people that have had that gift and whatnot, and I always found it pretty interesting. But I don't know. I haven't per se had any encounters with spirits because I can't see them, I can't feel them, I can't. Yeah. And as far as I know,
can you look at someone and see whether or not they have a gift or a potential for a gift?
You feel the energy.
Does Gilmore have the energy?
I don't think so. No,
but he has spirits around him.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Which we'll talk about it off air.
I believe that. I believe that.
Dude, we're not. You got like Castro behind you or something. He said we'll talk about it off air.
He's talking to me right here.
Yeah, he's just like, he's like, well, why is Osama bin Laden hanging out around Gilmore?
No, because my parents are very religious, and my mom's always blessing me and praying for me and all that. So, yeah.
Yeah, dude, we'll give you a little off-air tip.
Yeah.
What about like, do I have the energy?
Oh yeah.
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 I've got some weird energy.
Not weird.
You looked at the way he said it was weird. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay.
I've noticed that people that are more like Eric, and Eric he's not attuned to it, but people that are more gifted, how can I say it? That are, I guess gifted is about the only thing, more talented.
You could use the word precious. That's fine.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Precious.
He's doing Gollum too.
But the people that have that ability, they usually don't recognize that they have it.
Yes.
And I'm sure that you've had times where you've walked into places and you get that deja vu, like, I've been here before.
Yeah,
I get that a lot.
It happens a lot.
Yep. And that's because you were there. Yeah, you were there. And that's because you're on another plane. And that's when you're sleeping at night is when you're the most open, and that's why people they have witches rides. Have you ever heard that term before?
No, what's that?
It's where you fall asleep and your brain is asleep faster than your consciousness, and basically you kind of are out of body experience. You're kind of awake, but you're not. Your conscious is awake, but your subconscious is already out and gone. And you hear noises and you start thinking, oh, there's somebody here. Or, oh, there's something going on. I need to get up, but I can't move. And you're kind of paralyzed. And they call them witches' rides because your body is like...
Is that sleep paralysis?
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
I've had that.
Yeah.
And people... And it's at that point where your body is, usually when you're sleeping at night, not quite this whole sleep paralysis thing, but that's when you start having those images and those, the next day you're up, you're walking around, and you're like, wait a minute, I feel like I've done this before. Well, you did it the night before, you just had a preview of it, you just didn't realize it.
What the hell?
So that's why I say, you have the gift. It's not developed. And that's why.
You tell everybody they have the gift.
Not everybody.
No, he said I don't have it.
He doesn't have it.
Oh, okay.
Although I do dream a lot, and I do have deja vu like twice a month.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That could be your diet.
That could be my diet. Stupid.
Just from a
lay off the burritos.
Just from a gifted individual.
You got the seal of approval. Then you can tell me what the fuck I am.
Yo, less granola.
What's going on here? That's great. No, I literally had deja vu. It was 3 days ago. I was in the shower, and I was like, "What the fuck? This is." I mean, obviously you've been in the shower before, but it was this.
That was his first time showering?
It was this specific situation because I had a video playing, and I remember hearing the video and then having this feeling, and then you get that feeling where I've done this already. Why am I here again? I had that. It was like a couple of days ago. So what the fuck?
Like, hey man, can I get some of that too?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I get deja vu a lot. It's weird.
Interesting.
It happens a lot.
All right, stay vuing, dude.
Yeah, dude. Stay Dasian, dude.
Yeah, just keep
laser focus,
Head on swivel, dude.
Watch out.
This has been great.
Good.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Where, like, do you want people to find you? Obviously not.
Yeah,
You got a lot of things looking for you already.
So, yeah, no malevolent
Government.
spirits. Like,
Government. Yeah, government's after you too.
There's like no 3-letter agencies.
Yep. Definitely not the CIA.
We gotta like blur his face out for the whole episode.
Pitch his voice down. Yeah.
He's like, wait, are these cameras? Yeah, Dominic Sattele.
Yep.
How did you say it?
Everybody, because they see Dominic and they see I look Italian. I don't know why, but and they're like, Dominic Sattele.
The Dominic Sattele.
I'm like, no, Sattele is not
Yeah,
Italian.
Dominic Sattele. You're on social media though. If people want
I am. Yeah, I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram, and I don't check Facebook a lot, so it's there more for my family so they can get a hold of me.
But your main production is the show.
Yeah.
Eric Mintel Investigates.
Eric Mintel Investigates is on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
On YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
We're on the majors.
Nice.
So, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Comment, like, and subscribe. Help us out. Let's get some more likes and views.
Yeah, look at this guy. He's the best.
Yeah, he's over here.
He knows how to sell it.
He's doing it up, man.
Go over to his channel. Hit those like buttons.
Oh, yeah.
I've watched a few of the videos. It's good production.
Eric is phenomenal.
Cool stories. It's definitely eye-opening that some of this stuff is very close to us.
Oh, yeah.
So that's been a benefit.
Yeah, I mean, we've done McCool's Tavern up in Quakertown, and we've done the New Hope Railroad, and we're actually going to be doing more of that, and we're going to do a second one with that, so that'll be really cool.
All right.
So, yeah.
Dang, the New Hope Railroad. That's the steam train thing.
Yeah,
right
we're going to
here.
be doing more of that, too.
Oh, that's so cool.
So, yeah.
Well, I'll look forward to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be, Eric just had a meeting with him today and was talking to him about some other stuff we want to do.
Nice.
And, yeah, it's awesome. We just got on the cover of Paranormal magazine. So we were on the cover of that and did an article for us. So we had WHYY, Channel 12, follow us around.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
I saw some clips from that.
Yep.
Oh, that was pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
you guys are definitely big time.
Yeah.
So it's been cool to hang out with you and Eric, and I appreciate you coming by here tonight.
Yeah, sometime maybe we'll get together, him and I.
Dude, we can do it. We can set it up.
Yeah.
We can set it up. Maybe what's a good time of year to get like you and Eric together? Like what's a significant like time, or is there like some ghosts? It's like the summer hot, or like what's the
right now we're picking up. We're going to be doing a couple videos. New Spirit, Old Soul again. We're going to do another one for New Hope Railroad.
Okay.
He's got a couple other ones. He won't tell me what they are, which that to me is there's more
He just
ghosts
doesn't
and
want
stuff.
he doesn't want you to know the
Yeah.
details.
Doesn't want me to look anything up, and I'm like, yeah, I never do. But
Yeah, he knows where to find us, and like you know where to. You know where to find us. So I mean, if you guys need anything or
subscribers,
dude, subscribers.
Yeah, subscribe, dude.
Everybody
Subscribe
needs
to the show.
subscribers.
That's awesome.
But thanks for coming.
Yeah,
I
thank you,
appreciate
dude.
it
Thanks for
and
having
sharing
me.
the time with us. And this is No Prisoners Podcast. We got Dom, Gilmar, Andrew, Rainbow was in and out of here. Subscribe to the show, like, follow, head over to the YouTube channel for Eric Mintel Investigates. Give them a follow. Check out some of their content. It's really great. And we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.